Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Money League, our TFT Football's EPL show, which is like almost week 10, guys. It's amazing. We've been doing this awesome, great for all our fans. And of course, us. We get to chat EPL every week. Joining me today, my bearded brother, Mr. Graywall, and Mills, who tried growing a beard but couldn't. How are you, Mills?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing great, doing great. Okay,
Great,
let's
Melvin.
Graywall. Like, how's your hamstring doing? I have to check on that every week, apparently, nowadays.
Oh man, it's a bit dicey. I got a game tonight. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but for the people who understand Celsius, it's like 0 - 1 Celsius, and I
Oh my
gotta
God.
play tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Hopefully, it holds up. I'm knocking on wood for myself.
Okay, okay. Well, let's get started. So, like, I wanted to start it since our show is called the Money League. I wanted to start with the latest report on the pirated version of EPL stream on Facebook. And apparently, EPL is losing $1 million a game, and it's on Facebook, and it's hilarious. And one channel on Facebook, I forgot the name of the channel, made like $12 million this calendar year. Hilarious.
Definitely.
So, well, that's hopefully they kind of figure it out. They need all the money, right? Like, biggest league, they need all the money.
They need
Uh,
they need of course they need another revenue stream. Oh, we can't lose one revenue stream of the many we have.
looks like
Mhm.
they want to stream on Facebook. Facebook has like a South Asia deal or something, so they're trying to stream in Malaysia and things like that. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. Okay, Graywall, if you didn't know, Milt sent out an agenda today. Conveniently forgot Man City drawing against Nottingham Forest and drawing against
Ah,
in the Champions League. So I don't know. I don't know.
well,
Because those two matches didn't happen. They didn't
Millsy,
happen. They don't exist.
Millsy, no shame dropping points to Nottingham Forest. Okay, they do have more European championships than Man City. Okay,
Whoa!
okay, European.
Oh, come on, my God. Why I gotta bring that up? Come
You
on,
know,
man.
I wish. I wish there was actually like a Netflix documentary on those Forest teams because I have no idea how they pulled that off. It's so weird. Like you look at the list of European champions, and it's like, oh yeah,
Yep.
Liverpool, Madrid. Oh yeah, but not what is this symbol? Like I had to look it up. I was like, what is this? Nottingham Forest.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into some Premier League. So last week we had a lot of like little bit upset, which is frustrating to say. Liverpool upset Newcastle United. That is hilarious to even like say it aloud,
Mhm.
but it happened. But also like I think we have to mention this Greyval and Mills. So Liverpool kind of like sit in eighth right now, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like misleading. They have two games in hand. Let's say they win those two games, they'll be in fifth spot. So I think it's people are like underestimating Liverpool. I know I think their loss against Real Madrid hurt them, but they look really good.
Oh, yeah, they look great. Ever since really their attack has been really firing on all cylinders. And Cody Gakpo is very because of course he scored a goal in that one. He seems to be getting more involved in the attack. He's getting more comfortable and stuff on the wings and stuff like that. And even and yeah, I even thought Darwin Nunez would be out because he has an AC joint sprain, but he actually played and actually
Yeah.
scored in the 10th minute. So
Hmm.
wow, so they thing and
Yeah.
that red card for Nick Pope for Newcastle didn't help either.
Yeah. So Greywall, any thoughts on Liverpool?
I don't think they get into the top four.
Don't.
No, I don't, and it doesn't really matter. Like, do they really want Europa League at five? Okay, in theory, I'm giving them the opportunity to catch Newcastle, but I don't think they catch Tottenham or Manu. I mean, Manu, I think is for sure too far. Tottenham, I don't know, 7 points. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, well, two games in hand, so maybe like winning those two games, and they have a match against Tottenham too coming up. Like not soon, but in the next month
If
or
you look
so.
at it, play devil's advocate. 2 games in hand, but they have 10 wins, right, in 22 games.
Yeah.
So I don't think
So.
it's like you can really pencil in 6 points. I think you have to pencil in like max four.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right? So
Yep.
that's fair.
that
That's
still
fair.
leaves them. Yeah, that still leaves them, a full 3 points behind. But there's still a lot of footy to be played, right?
Yep.
By this time of year, we're usually getting closer to the end, but because of the World Cup hiatus,
Mhm.
the season's finishing a bit later. So, they're going into May this year, right? So we'll see.
So another team which is probably going to cite the World Cup as a reason for their terrible performance is Chelsea. Graywell and both of us, like we're wearing blue today. We're not representing Chelsea, but it just happens Chelsea is blue. They are imploding, dude. What
Yeah.
is wrong with that? Mills, are they like? I know they signed a lot of players. Anyone coming back from injuries? Is that the main reason, or are we looking at other reasons too out here?
And it's so funny. It's so funny because like all for the over 600 million like euros that they spent in the transfer window, they only have one goal in 4 matches. So they can't find goals anywhere. And they got a boost. And Golo Conte is coming. He's back in training from the hamstring rupture, but they're still missing Christian Pulisic. I don't expect him to come back this season. Raheem Sterling, he said he is reportedly getting better, but he still needs some time. So they're really weird, and I cannot believe that after all the talent they have, all the attacking talent they signed, they cannot score. And then not only that, not only did they lose to Southampton, not only did they lose to Southampton, but they also they drew in the
Yep.
who they drew with? They draw with Dortmund and them too.
They lost against Dortmund 1-0.
Okay, they lost to Dortmund, yeah.
Yeah, so they've just had like back-to-back bad performance. Greywell, have you watched any of the Chelsea games?
I bet I haven't watched live, but I have decided to go and see how things work. I just think this is like early Man City or like early when any of these clubs get a lot of money. They just go out and buy players without actually making it fit into a team. And so I think there's a lot of surgery that needs to be done on that squad still. You can't just throw money by big names and just expect goals. You can't just have great wide receivers and have success in the NFL. You cannot just have 4 point guards and have success in the NBA. They got to invest in the back line. They have to invest in the midfield. They're a little hard done with injuries, obviously. But, if they really wanted to try to revamp things, if they really are unhappy with this squad, then they're going to have to strip it down a little bit more and not just buy a bunch of offensive players. Plus, also, let's just not call them great because they're price tags. Like some of these guys, they overpaid for a bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez, not worth $120 million. So,
and they just lost the key piece.
Who's the Ukrainian guy? I don't even know his name. I forgot.
Murdic.
Murdic. Like apparently he has great
speed.
Yeah, I think he has great speed and everything. He looks flashy, but I don't know how.
He actually does look. I know. I don't even remember his name. I feel bad. He's looked all right. But
Mikhail Murdic. He has a lot of. The scouting report is he has a lot of pace. He has a lot of pace. He's okay in the air, but his decision making with his passing is a little shaky. And also they just lost another part, a big piece to their back line. The left back Caesar Azpilicueta. He had a scary head-to-head injury against Southampton. He had to be hospitalized. He's been released and he's fine, but he is in concussion protocol, and they said he's going to be out for a minute.
Okay. Wow, interesting. So the fellow London clubs are rocking and rolling. Arsenal back to form. Tottenham is, oh my God, great. Greywell, I don't know. Mills made a really good observation. I just wanted to get your thoughts. So he said Harry Kane has been dropping back lately since the end of the World Cup. So he's playing more in like number 10 instead of 9. I don't know if that's making any difference for Tottenham, but they look really good lately.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily Harry Kane. I think Conte has them very organized, right? Like they don't concede much, and so they are very defensively responsible. They almost look like an Italian team in a sense. And so I don't know. Maybe it's the Harry Kane thing. I admittedly haven't seen much of Tottenham either. But they're scrappy, right? Like they're scrappy. They work hard. I think they're well organized. And regardless of who they play, like they're going to be in every single game, which is a good position to be in, which is also why I think they hang on to that 4th spot.
Well,
And Son Heung-min being back in form too, had a couple of nagging muscular injuries, but he came off the bench and scored versus West Ham. And Harry Kane really connecting with Kulusevski in the midfield. That seems to be working playmaking and creativity wise.
Also, Greywell, since you brought up the Italian clubs, we can't make fun of Italian clubs anymore. They won all their 3 games in the Champions League. Guess who lost? Premier League. So
So plus Juve. Who did they play against? Ajax? No, I don't know who they played. Europa League, I don't give enough respect to, but I saw Juve won.
Okay, so the Europa League got round of 16 draw out. Juventus play Freiburg. Man United play Real Betis. Arsenal plays Sporting Lisbon. So we'll see. I think it's funny. I don't know if
there's lots of good teams left. The Europa League has interest. I will keep a closer eye moving forward.
It's so funny. The Champions League viewership was out last week. So outside, like last week when it was Chelsea, Dortmund, and yada, yada, yada. So all 4 teams combined, the viewership was like 87 million or like 105 million. Barcelona, Man United, 156 million, Europa League. So
wow,
I don't know what to say.
Come on. That's why that's why there's no seeding, man. That's why they pick those draws.
Man United brings the money and the viewership, of course. We play
Maybe-
the most insignificant game this weekend. I just wanted to mention that again.
Maybe some of that oil money. Oh,
I don't want those oil money. We'll see.
Maybe
We'll
some
see.
of that oil money, huh?
You
We
might
don't-
need that Qatari money, man.
Yeah.
You might need it. Might need it. It's probably better than the Glazers, though.
Yeah,
To be honest,
definitely. I think Glazers put more in their pocket rather than, and they were trying to like cover up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that Bucks is losing money, so they're taking money from United and putting it into the Bucks. So I don't know, like, yeah, like I mentioned, Man United are playing okay. They played a really good game yesterday, except for the Bruno Fernandes terrible penalty thing out there. He was running away from the box.
yeah. But it's okay, right? Like they got the result they needed.
That,
I know.
in a way, it's kind of good because that lit a fire under United, so they played well. And well, we play against Newcastle on Sunday, the most insignificant tournament, in my opinion. We'll see.
Rashford is unstoppable right now.
Yeah, well, he didn't score against Barcelona. Come on, we need like 10 goals every game from him. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I do like Garnacho. Garnacho signed a new deal apparently. That rumored he signed like a 5-year deal. I was a little concerned that he might leave United, so he's coming back.
He's young, right?
Yeah, he's young. Okay, Mills, let's get into some injury updates. What are the main injuries for the top 6 teams we're looking out here? Even though Liverpool and Chelsea are in 8 and 10. Let's go one by one, so Graywell can break that down for us.
Okay, so which ones you want to start with?
Let's start with Arsenal, top of the table.
Arsenal has been dealing with a couple. They've been dealing with a couple of injuries. They're relatively healthy. Hold on, let me grab it right quick.
Oh, Jesus, right? Gabriel Jesus, obviously.
Working his way back from the MCL surgery. They just Muhammad Elneny as well, because he also had a knee surgery as well too, because it's just been going down as a knock. No one really said what it really was, but he actually did have a knee ligament injury. So he's been dealing with that. Thomas Partey, he's been dealing with a thigh problem, thigh muscular strain, so he could be working his way back as well too. But it's really not looking good for anybody else. So for anybody else, Chelsea's still dealing with a bunch of injuries. Like let's say Pulisic still out, Raheem Sterling still out, and N'Golo Kante working his way back. It's just like a whole bag full of different injuries and stuff like that. Tottenham still is relatively healthy. Tottenham's still relatively healthy. So yeah, those are like the main ones.
What about United? Anthony was back. Graywell, I wanted to ask you about like a couple of things. So like Anthony was back. He scored against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Like I know we kind of like talked about his injury earlier a couple of weeks back. What are your thoughts? Like, is he like fully recovered, or is it going to be like a substitute for a while?
No, I like to think they can progress pretty quick. So he came out there, he performed well. As long as he's feeling okay, right? Like there's the first game back, and then sometimes it can almost feel like a slight setback that week because they know what they typically feel like post-match. I know Thursday is an odd day to play, so I was going to say Monday, but like, he knows how he feels the next day after. He might feel worse than normal, which is okay. I think you manage their minutes through training, and if you want, you can use them in a limited role again in the next game. But for the most part, it's more of a touch and feel with how he is going forward. But you can pretty much consider him fully fit. Pretty much, not always there, but pretty much.
How about Anthony Martial?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's still dealing with that groin injury. He still has a groin injury that he's dealing with.
He's not played a full season in the last 5 years.
I know that. See, that's the thing, right? And you're gonna have to correct me. Like, I don't think he's as bad as like Ousmane Dembele with the recurrence of injuries. So I don't know if this is the muscle that he has strained before. I'd have to really go back and read through some stuff. But he's sort of into a situation where sometimes you have to think about, do you shut the player down and just sort of start from scratch, which is what Barcelona did with Dembele, right? Like he had such a prolonged absence. And is that the best approach? I don't know if my gut tells me he's not in that same situation because Dembele was having surgery and things like that, right? But is it time where you just shut it down just for a bit? Maybe not the whole season, like that's a bit extreme, but you shut it down for a bit, start from scratch, do a good biomechanical analysis, do a good gait analysis, see if you can find any sort of abnormalities, and then start from the ground up almost.
It is one of the main adductor muscles. It is one of the main adductor muscles too. A lot of from what I was seeing, it was probably they said maybe the adductor brevis, which is one of the main ones as well, and also or the adductor magnus. But we don't want to get too into it. But those are the two main ones that actually, like Dr. Greenwald said, affects your gait. So one of those will probably bother them.
Okay. Dr. Grewal, so N'Golo Kante is coming off an injury, and his contract is expiring end of the season. There are already rumors that United and Liverpool are interested in both Kante and Mason Mount. So, do you think this injury like affects his transfer window or his long-term contract?
Maybe the contract, not so much the transfer fee. I think his fee will still be quite high. He's a very well-respected footballer. Probably makes a difference in the World Cup if he's there. Honestly, I think he would have tipped enough in France's favor, and they probably walk away with back-to-back World Cups. So I think the transfer fee holds. Maybe the contract. Maybe there's less term on that contract than he would like, just because of his history. But without a salary cap, like I don't know how much teams honestly even care, right? Like they splash so much money on transfers, and we'd never hear about players like holding out because they're not getting enough money, not enough guaranteed money. Like that just doesn't exist. Like I really do think that teams are just like, you know what, here you go, whatever. And if you stink, we'll start benching you. We're not going to treat you with much respect. And then all of a sudden you're going to ask for a transfer, and that contract is some other team's problem, you know?
Yeah.
So I think from like a North American standpoint, probably less term, but at the same time, they might say, whatever, we just want him, kick that problem down the road.
Okay. So would you rather go?
Chelsea's negotiating a 4-year deal. Actually, negotiating a 4-year deal with N'Golo Kante when he comes back. So,
we'll see.
So they want to keep him. They want to keep him.
What does he want to be there? And given a choice, would you go with Mason Mount or Kante?
Kante. Even the injuries, even like everything, just Kante.
Mason Mount is the next prince of EPL.
Yeah, but let's not forget, everybody is slightly overrated if they're British. It's just the way it goes, you know? I'm not saying like Mason Mount's a really nice player. I think he's great. He's obviously homegrown, right, for Chelsea as well.
Yep.
So I get the desire to want to keep him for a club identity standpoint, things like that. Great player. Like I'm not trying to put Mount down by saying I'd take Kante, but I just think Kante can have a greater impact on a match. And there are less players like him than there are Mounts. Plus, there's a lot of things that are, I think, somewhat difficult to measure. The way Casemiro has made a difference for Man U, I think Kante can make for a club as well, where I think it sort of lifts the spirit of a team. The defensive impacts are sometimes hard to measure, but quite strong, and can hold their own offensively. Plus, it frees up other players to be better. So it's a type of guy who sort of, you know, if you look at all your players, 2 + 2, like 3 + 3 is 6. Like with him, it's almost like 3 × 3 is 9. Like he gets more out of everybody around the rest of your squad. And there's rare talents like that out there. I know, like I'm talking about a defensive midfielder here, but I really do think that highly of him. I really do.
Okay. Yeah.
Or he can go to PSG because they're interested in him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much those things work out. Okay, let's look into some matchups coming up this weekend. So I think the best game is, of course, Tottenham, Chelsea, London derby out there. Something tells me Chelsea is going to win this game. Mills, any other injuries outside of the ones you mentioned, or is that it?
Tottenham is going to be without, of course, they're the big four, the four who's been out. Rodrigo Bentancur, he has the torn ACL, he's out. Yves Bissouma, of course, their goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, he has an MCL sprain, and also Ryan Sessegnon, he also is dealing with a muscular injury, so they're going to be without those guys. And also, Richarlison, also he's dealing with something nagging to their striker, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, Chelsea is still dealing with Cesar. I can't say his last name, but Cesar is in concussion protocol. He is doubtful for that one, and also Thiago Silva and Reece James, they could return.
Okay, Dr. Grewal, I think Chelsea is going to win this game.
Draw 0-0, boring game, waste of all of our times because we're going to. Pessimist. You're talking to a pessimist over here.
Well, the next big game is, of course, Arsenal, Leicester City. I think Arsenal's going to roll. Unless...
they're going to walk.
Oh, I wanted to talk about this one. Like Martinelli celebrating before he scored the goal. I don't know. I know, like a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, this is disrespectful." Yada yada yada. Is that confidence or overconfident? I think it's like kind of like a defined line out there.
Borderline, but it's fun. That's okay. Right? Like, I wouldn't want my teammate doing it. I wouldn't want my team as, like, a manager, anyone wanting it. I want, like, a classy team. But, like, this is also the entertainment business, right?
Yep,
like,
100%. do you guys think so? Liverpool play Crystal Palace at home. Is that going to be a challenging game for Liverpool? What are we looking at here? Crystal
Um,
Palace is sitting at like 12. So
yeah, but they're going to be without Tyrick Mitchell on the left side of on the as a left back because he has an ankle sprain. So that already is a big hole in there. Nathan Ferguson cannot get healthy. He's going to be out as well too. Joel Ward, James Tompkins, Wilfried Zaha still out. Oh my. Mm-mm.
Forgot
Wilfred
about
Zaha
Wayne.
had this great
Nice
potential,
Yeah,
like when
nice
he
play.
signed. Yeah. Yeah.
It's never worked out. Unfortunate.
Yes. Yes.
I think Liverpool win. As
Okay.
you know, anyone who's watched the podcast knows I'm a Madrid guy. But in an element, Liverpool were a little hard. Like it wasn't like a 5-2 drubbing. Like it was, but it also wasn't. Like I don't think they're that bad of a squad, and I didn't think they played that poorly. So I think they're still like, I don't know. I think they can find a result here. I still don't think they're going to top four, but I found a result.
Okay.
It may be a bit more difficult because they're without Thiago Alcantara, Calvin Ramsey, Luis Diaz. Arthur is still out, which is going to be hurt, and also Ibrahima Konate, the French center back. So it's definitely it could be a bit tougher, but yeah.
Any updates on Virgil van Dijk?
He's back. He's back in. He actually took part in their last match.
No, I mean like injury wise, like how are we looking at that, Graywell? Like I know we kind of did like he might miss like 3 to 4 weeks. It's been 3 to 4 weeks, but
I would have to go and look on the latest update. But I actually don't even know about Virgil van Dijk.
No, he started their last match. He started Liverpool's last match, and he's available for selection for this last one. He's been doing better. He's been doing better. It was of course that hamstring rupture that we were all worried about was really scary. But he progressed faster than what said according to the EPL injury table. And he's been starting. He looked good.
No, I get that. Like he missed 6 weeks. He played against Newcastle, right? I can't remember. Like he started. I can't remember if he finished, but he played. And then I know he played. But I think your question, Rahul, was like form, right?
Yep.
Is that what you're going on?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I got my own hamstring strain here. No, I should talk about it from my own side, but it's tough to regain your form. It is tough, right? Like it's not just match fitness, but it's just like being at speed, being comfortable, things like that. And you know what, lunging into tackles as well, right? Like there's a certain level of confidence that you need to get back into that. The professionals, I like to think that he's still going to be capable, and he's one of the best defender still in the world, although maybe not at the same peak he was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. But it does take a bit of time. 6 weeks is a long time. He's probably not fully fit in that leg. But in terms of performance, he's still someone who could go out and perform at an elite level, even at less than 100% in that leg.
Yeah, he only played 62 to 65 minutes. So he didn't finish the match, but he did play a good chunk of it.
Liverpool come back and play Wolves on Wednesday, so I think that's gonna be like a Wednesday. Give me a sec. Yeah, they come back and play Wednesday because of the World Cup, Liverpool down like 2 games, so they have to make it up for that. Mills, before we head out, any updates, injury updates for the Man United Newcastle game? I know we touched upon United, but anything Newcastle needs to be aware of?
So anything? I haven't really seen any. I haven't seen anything. But like I said, Nick Pope, he's suspended because he got that red card.
Yeah.
Bruno Guillermo is also. Joseph Wilcox is still dealing with that thigh muscular strain. Joe Linton still has a thigh muscular strain too, and Emil Croft tore his ACL, so he's out for the season. But other than those guys, no real main things.
Well, they're gonna play at Wembley, so looks like that will be the first big tournament finals. Then next would be FA Cup and blah blah.
And also breaking news. Marcus Rashford also because he got a bit of a knock in that last game too. It's actually an ankle sprain. Sorry.
It's fine. We have Garnacho and Anthony coming back.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well,
Well,
need some squad rotation anyways. Like all these midweek games.
Yeah. 100%. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. We typically produce this show on Wednesday, but unfortunately, we had a 2-feet snowstorm in Minnesota, so we had to figure things out. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Have a wonderful weekend.